It's a sometimes vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometimes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the USS Midway today. Also for those who are in the armed forces and whatnot. So this is a history museum. This was built in the World War II, end of the war, and of course afterwards, went into Vietnam and up to the 1980s. If you guys remember Top Gun, this served all the way up to the Cold War in the 1980s. Here we are at the USS Midway Museum. This from World War II to the 1980s.
Thank you. Audio tours here. Feel free to take one.
Me neither. Yeah. As you can see, the hangar deck of this ship is huge. This is an aircraft carrier. We're walking through the hangar deck of the USS Midway. No, these are tight. Can you take my picture? No, I mean on my 44 Sarah. They have that. They have that at the aerospace. Well, they made more than one. Yeah. Flight simulators. On the deck.
Remember, see that round hole there? That's something that people inside can get out.
Oh, there's a Matt. Here's a green one if you want.
Remember, folks, the mid-war, World War II, all the way to the 1980s. So you have a lot of evolution from Air Force, Marines, and all sorts of airplanes served aboard. San Diego Bay. Oh, this is an aircraft carrier.
What's that? You got half.
Disney Cruise Line. Top Gun. F-18. They still have F-16s, I've been told. Folks, I realized I have 2 bars on my battery, so I don't know how much longer. I thought I had full battery, and I'll have to recharge the battery again. So I don't know how much footage I'll have on that. F-14.
That's the plane that was flown by Maverick. Top Gun.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how much battery power I have, so I'm only getting limited here, so I'll have to.
Save it for the galley.
Okay. USS Ronald Reagan, an active Navy aircraft over there. Ronald Reagan. Those are the modern aircraft. you can see, this was not built for tall people, folks.
No, it's all.
The reason they had these things is because it was floating, so we're going in the Admiral's quarters. Chief of Staff stateroom.
Greetings and welcome aboard. My name is Rear Admiral David March. Retired from the Navy now. The USS Midway was my flagship from August 1990 to November 1990. The room that the strike operations conducted against Saddam Hussein in January 1991 to defeat his move into Kuwait that occurred earlier in the summer. The buildup of that action was called Desert Shield, and the actual combat operations were called Desert Storm. This war room is where my staff and I received our orders and allocated our strike missions to the aircraft carriers and the forces that we had assigned to us in the Gulf. I had at the outset of combat operations 4 aircraft carriers, the USS Midway, of course, my flagship, the USS Ranger, USS America, and the USS Roosevelt. We also had 6 Aegis cruisers, a number of amphibious ships, and a number of combat support ships. And we were supported by 8 different countries. So we had, in fact, the largest naval allied and coalition naval force since World War II, all in the Persian Gulf. The next room that you're going to go into is called the Tactical Flag Command and Control Center. It is here that we have the heart of the operations of the ship, where I directed the combat operations that started that night, early in the morning, January 17, 1990. Now as you walk into the space,
You guys got this figured out?
Almost.
This is all wheel, not rough.
This isn't How are we doing?
I checked you guys way better than everyone else. Don't trust anyone. Who says?
Chef's head. Chef's quarters. Folks, the reason they had these high and low beams is because this is a moving ship and they had to prevent flooding, so they had these high, for flooding purposes, they had these high and low beam walkways.
Most of the other ships, this stuff is on the O3 level, on Midway was O2.
I like this.
You ever,
World War II equipment.
go through the drive-in banking back in the day?
Yes.
With the,
yes.
with the tubes?
Yes.
Or if you have, remember like old department stores, they would have tubes that
from
could
floor
send
to
stuff
floor.
from floor to floor. That's what
That's
these
all
are.
that is?
These are pneumatic message tubes. So this is Radio Central. So they would get the messages in here, and then they could send them different places.
Play computers. Remember, folks, when the computers and teletypes during World War II and the Vietnam War, they used these early computers, folks. This is how they operated. That was like the 1970s and 80s. This is how it was in the 40s to the 70s. This is how the early computers were. They had these teletyping, these early giant computers to receive and do orders and do what they needed to do in those days. Send messages and coded messages and frequencies and orders, because this was a flagship ship. Oh, this is... Folks, you couldn't be a tall person. Of course, tall people did serve. Look at these old computers. Radio.
There's Morse code over there, huh? Usually try. Good thing I didn't see your Giants hat. I probably would have answered your question.
So you don't have to think about dash dash.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I was down in the engine room yesterday, and one of the kids asked me, "Where's the Morse code room?"
Thanks, Art. I'll be right up. Being captain of the USS Midway is a brutal job, but it's also the best job of my career because the stakes are as high as the rewards. Imagine commanding an aircraft carrier and being solely responsible for the safety of so many sailors in one of the most dangerous environments you can find anywhere. It's a humbling responsibility, one that I'll value for the rest of my life. Well, I'll have to finish my paperwork here. Flight ops are about to start. I hope you'll think about the extraordinary dedication of my crew as you continue your tour. They make Midway magic every day. Thanks for coming aboard.
So that was the captain's in Fort County.
This is the captain's private kitchen. The crew has a different type of kitchen, folks. Again, I don't know how much battery power I have, but that was the Admiral and Captain's area. This is the bridge.
Did the briefer down below tell you about the renovation of the bridge?
No.
Well, the bridge is being renovated. They're putting a new roof on it because it leaks like a sieve in the rain. If you can see out the window, it's covered over with that plastic wrap. OSHA requirements in California says that when you weld and paint and stuff like that, you have to cover up the windows.
Heavy seas is pretty dangerous.
Yeah. I bet it is. Navigation.
Something happened to my...
Main bridge.
I know, we can take off if we do. We're gonna take off if we get this switches.
They started the steel wire to put a road that area is called the pilot house. Navigation bridge is center of command and control of the entire ship. Everything that happens on board Midway comes through the navigation bridge. Consequently, this is where you're going to find the commanding officer of the ship. And when you came through the door, you see his chair, commanding officer. When the Midway was under commission,
I had a limited footage, folks. I had a red light, so I don't know much more of this, but this is the ship's galley and kitchen. Midway special hash browns. And anyway, that was the bridge. Pancakes, eggs. Folks, I have to have limited bags. I don't know how much I'm squeezing out of this here. So if I shut off, this is Johnny 2B signing off, just in case I don't finish this YouTube. Crew quarters.
We are parking this way.
Officers' quarters.
Yeah.
I hear.
This is the sick bay section. This is sick bay.
Guards are responsible for everything that happens on board the ship. He's too busy, though, to pay attention to the day-to-day routine of driving the ship. So what he has done is designated in writing a handful of officers to be his direct representatives when they're standing a 4-hour watch. The senior officer in this group is called the Officer of the Deck. He stands exactly where I'm standing right now. He reports directly to the captain. When he's speaking to somebody on board the ship, he speaks with the authority of the captain. And those 4 hours he's standing at watch, he is in complete control of running this ship. The second officer in this group is called the Junior Officer of the Deck, and he has a job which is called the Conning Officer. Conning means control. There's only one conning officer at a time. He is the only one who can give steering orders to the helm and speed orders to the lee helm. The captain could be sitting right there in his chair. The captain cannot give steering and speed orders. Unless he happens to say, this is the captain, I have the con. Should he do that, he can give all the orders he wants. And when he's finished, he relinquishes the con back to somebody.
Squeezing what I can. Of course, the battery does the mess hall for the officers. This is the commercial laundry room for the Navy. Washers and
Hips.
dryers. They had hips back in those days. Amazing. Hips, dryers, and washers. I know they had those in those days. Again, I'm squeezing out. See if I could squeeze anything out. This is the actual crew. And the crew's actually slept like this. This is actual.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Imagine sleeping